Hey guys, welcome to another day of Bible reading. If you remember last time, we read about the death of Saul. How he was so injured that he decided to just jump on the sword himself instead of being killed by the Philistines, and so his sons also died with him. And yeah, that was about it. So today we are going to learn about David's hearing of Saul's death and David's lament for Saul and Jonathan. Yeah, let's go. From verse 1 until verse 27. So let's do this. Let's do this. And happy Easter weekend, everyone. Happy Easter weekend. And after the death of Saul, when David had returned from striking down the Amalekites, David remained 2 days in Ziklag. And on the third day, behold, a man came from Saul's camp with his clothes torn and dirt on his head. So if you remember, in the olden days, to show that you are mourning, you had to tear your clothes and soil your body, your head, and just basically reveal to everyone that you are in mourning. That was the sign. So so basically, after David had his war with the Amalekites, then he stayed in Ziklag for 2 days, and then on the third day, a man from the camp of Saul came, showing that someone had died. So David fell to the ground and paid homage. So David paid homage to the guy. Let's see. David said to him, "Where do you come from?" So I'm thinking that because David saw that this is a sign of death, he just knew that, okay, someone had died. And then he asked the guy, "Where did you come from?" And he said to him, "I have escaped from the camp of Israel." And David said to him, How did it go? Tell me." And he answered, "The people fled from the battle, and also many of the people have fallen and are dead. Saul and his son Jonathan also are dead." Yeah, I know this kind of sounds like there's no emotion, but if you can imagine the love that David had for Jonathan, yeah, you'll get the picture. So yeah, so the guy told him that he came from the camp where there was the battle, and he fled. So David asked him, "How did everything go?" And the guy told him that Jonathan and his father Saul are dead. Then Saul said to the young then David said to the young man who told him, "How do you know that Saul and his son Jonathan are dead?" And the young man who told him said, "By chance I happened to be on Mount Gilboa, and there was Saul leaning on his spear. And behold, the chariot and the horsemen were close upon him." Well, we recently, like just the last time, we read about how Saul killed himself. So David is asking this young man, "How do you know that Saul and Jonathan are dead?" Which is a valid question. And this guy just says, "I was on Mount Gilboa, and there was Saul leaning on his spear, and behold, the chariots and the horsemen were close upon him." So basically, the Philistines were closing up on Saul. So okay, and when he looked behind him, he saw me. When he looked behind him, so when Saul looked behind himself, he saw this young man and called him. And the young man answered, "Here I am." And he said to me, "Who are you?" I answered him, "I am an Amalekite." So Saul looked behind him and he saw this young man and asked him, "Who are you?" Then this young man was like, "Okay, I'm an Amalekite." And he said to me, "Stand beside me and kill me, for anguish has seized me, and yet my life is still lingers." So if you remember, Saul asked his armor bearer to just finish the job so that the Philistines would not kill him. So now this guy is also saying a similar story, that he said to me, stand beside me and kill me, for anguish has seized me, and yet my life still lingers. So far, that's it. So Saul asked the young man to just stand beside him and just pierce him with the sword. So I stood beside him and killed him, because I was sure he could not live after he had fallen. And I took the crown that was on his head and the amulet that was on his arm, and I have brought them here to my Lord. So, yeah. As we know how Saul died. So this kind of shows that this young man lied, because the armor bearer, Saul's armor bearer, killed himself because he saw that, okay, Saul is dead, and I would rather not be here when other people come, and because they'll be asking me like, what happened to Saul, why didn't I protect him? So let's rather die together. And then this young man is saying that he came to Saul, and then Saul asked him to kill him, and he did that. Fishy. Then David took hold of his clothes and tore them. So did all the men who were with him. So David tore his own clothes, not the boy's clothes. So David took all his clothes and then he tore them, because let's just say the boy is saying that he killed Saul, and then he has his armor and crown. I don't remember if the Philistines took the crown. Let's see. The next day, when the Philistine came to strip the slain, they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen on Mount Gilboa. So they cut off his head and stripped off his armor, and sent messengers throughout the land of the Philistines to carry out. So they put his armor. So it doesn't really say much about the crown, which could mean, I don't know, but I don't think they would leave it there. It doesn't make sense that they would leave it. I mean, they see Saul's body and they take his armor and they leave the crown and the amulet. I don't know, it doesn't make sense. So then David took hold of his clothes and tore them, and so did all the men who were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until evening for Saul and for Jonathan his son, for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. So if you know, like, as much as Saul wanted to finish David, David was like, I'm not going to kill the Lord's anointed. So even at the end of Saul's life, David is like, I'm still going to honor you, because they fasted until the evening, which then means that the young men came very early in the morning. I don't know. And yeah, meaning that they did not eat for the whole day. Then they fasted for Saul, Jonathan, and for the house of Israel, because they are still family. Remember that Israel is all the Israelites came from Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, and that's where all the tribes came from. So they are related. And David said to the young man who told him, where do you come from? And he answered, I'm the son of a sojourner at an Amalekite. And David said to him, how is it you were not afraid to put out your hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? Good question. I mean, even David, who is the king, he had the right to kill another king, which is what, anyway, kings always do. They kill each other. But David did not say that. He did not want to destroy the Lord's anointed. So who are you that you think you can destroy the Lord's anointed? So the guy obviously was thinking, when he came here and told David and everything, he was probably thinking, okay, I will find favor. I mean, Saul wanted to kill David for so long, So me killing Saul should give me favor with David. Then David called one of the young men and said, "Go and execute him." And he struck him down so that he died. And David said to him, "Your blood be on your head, for your own mouth has testified against you, saying, I have killed the Lord's anointed." Wow. The young man was obviously thinking, if I kill Saul, then I will get some kind of favor from the king who's going to replace him. But also remember that Saul killed himself. So basically this young man just lied, trying to get favor with David, but then that ended up not working for him. David's lament for Saul and Jonathan. What a stupid way to lose your life. To lie that you killed someone in order to get favor in the eyes of someone else, but then they end up killing you because you committed a bigger sin now. And now he is saying, after killing him, like, you have your blood be on your head. Your blood is on your own head, for your own mouth has testified against you. You killed the Lord's anointed, and the punishment for that is death. So, and you testified against yourself. So there's nothing like, it's a pity that he didn't know, but in most cases that's where greed gets you. You always think that you can lie and deceive your way into higher positions. So David is like, no. The fact of the matter remains, you killed the Lord's anointed. You had no right to do that. You killed a king. But David obviously didn't know that he was lying. Because if you remember, just the previous verse, they said that Saul killed himself. That's why the armor bearer killed himself. So they wouldn't say Saul killed himself, the armor bearer killed himself, and then now a third person comes and now kills Saul again. It just means that maybe the young man came and found Saul there and then took these things to show David that, yay, I did it. But it didn't work in his favor. And David lamented with his lamentation over Saul and Jonathan, his son. And he said, so David lamented with his lamentation over Saul and Jonathan. So we all know how David loved Jonathan. Even I loved their friendship. And he said it should be told to the people of Judah. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. He said, your glory, O Israel, is lain on your high places. How the mighty have fallen. Oh, so this is where how the mighty have fallen comes from. Okay. So David is saying it should be taught to the people of Judah. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. So what he is going to say is written in the book of Jasher, and now it should be taught to the people of Judah. Your glory, O Israel, is slain on your high places. How the mighty have fallen. Tell it not in Gath. Publish it not in the streets of Ashkelon, lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, lest the daughters of the uncircumcised exult. So, glory goes to Israel. Your glory, O Israel, is slain in high places. So now you are, basically the glory of Israel is slain in its mighty high places. So, but don't tell it to Gath. Don't publish it in the streets of Ashkelon, and let the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, lest the daughters of the uncircumcised rejoice. So if you publish it and tell everyone else, obviously the daughters of the Philistines will rejoice, because they're like, yay, the glory of Israel is slain. Your mountains of Gilboa, let there be no dew or rain upon you. So the mountains of Gilboa, let there be no rain or dew on it. No rain or dew. So I think Gilboa was in Israel. I could be wrong. So no field of offering. For the shield, for there the shield of the mighty was defiled, the shield of Saul not anointed with oil. I think this is where Saul died. The mountain of Gilboa. Let me just go back and confirm. The mountain of Gilboa. Let's see if yes, they were in the Mount Gilboa. So verse 31 says, now the Philistines were fighting against Israel, and then the men of Israel fled before the Philistines and fell slain on Mount Gilboa. So David is basically now cursing the mountain that Jonathan and Saul died on. He's saying there should be no dew, no rain, nor field of offering, for the shield of the mighty was defiled. Because now a shield is supposed to protect the king, but the protection of the king failed, and now he is ruined, not anointed with oil. So he did not succeed in this. For the blood of the slain from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan turned not back, and the sword of Saul returned not empty. Okay, let's go back. We're on verse 32 now. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan turned not back. So basically, Jonathan was not able to turn his bow back and defend himself, and the sword of Saul returned not empty, because the sword of Saul did not return empty, meaning that it struck Saul. Because that guy said that he killed Saul with his own sword. I think so. Saul and Jonathan, beloved and lovely, in life and in death, they were not divided. That's how you want to be remembered if you happen to die with someone that you love, is that you were united both in life and death, and which is what David recognizes as he is lamenting here. They were swifter than angels, they were stronger than lions. So they worked well together. This is what David is saying. They worked well together. And your daughters of Israel weep over Saul, who clothed you luxuriously in scarlet, who put ornaments of gold on your apparel. So Saul honored you with his glory and uplifted you. So let's mourn for him. How the mighty have fallen in the midst of the battle. Yeah. And Jonathan lies slain on your high place. Jonathan died in honor because he did not cower. He died in battle. So that is like for men back then, that was the biggest honor, to die in battle, because you died fighting for something. You died defending something important. I am distressed for you, my brother Jonathan. Oh, very pleasant have you been to me. Your love to me was extraordinary, surpassing the love of a woman. This is how close they were. Like, that's why I think a lot of things wouldn't have happened had Jonathan not died. A lot of things wouldn't have happened. But yeah, how the mighty have fallen and the weapons of war perished. Yeah, the mighty did not make it, and their weapons of war perished. How the mighty and the weapons of war perished. Yeah. So that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As we remember the work of Christ, everything in the Bible leads to him. So as far as we don't necessarily always see it, but Saul was the first king of remember David was the first, I mean Adam was the first Adam, and like they're saying Jesus was the last Adam. Saul was the first king, Jesus was the, well, the king, the last king, like the real king that everyone was waiting for. So in all the mistakes that they made on this earth as humans, God came in the flesh and showed them how they were supposed to do all of this in the first place. So it is truly an honor to be living on the other side of the work of Jesus, and to know that I can truly never end this. This is not something that I could do, something that I could achieve. But Jesus, God loved me so much that Jesus left his throne and came in the form of his own creation. He humbled himself so much that he came in the form of a baby, where everyone had to take care of him. And yeah, and at every chance, people just kept trying to kill him, kept trying to kill him. Eventually, when time came for his ministry to like really start, he was able to start, and that's why we are here now. People wrote books, wrote scriptures, and now we are here on the other side. As much as, yes, we are still facing challenges, but we have Jesus now. We are not alone. We have the Holy Spirit. We are not alone. So just remember that, and oh, thank you everyone for joining me, and yeah, thank you, Jesus. Jesus love you all. Bye. See you next time.